The majority of people I speak to admit they are too scared to go out camping alone and don't even want to give it a try. So here's my top tips to get you out camping alone so you feel safe and actually enjoy camping by yourself. These tips are in no particular order, but stayed at the end. I put a poll out the other day on Instagram asking for your tips on how people can get over their fears of camping solo, and also questions people might have about camping solo. First one is camping lights. It's all well and good to bring a camp light that will light up your camp area. I would highly recommend that. Don't rely on your car lights. You'll have a flat battery in no time. So bring a torch as well. This is actually one of the biggest things that would scare people the most. At their campsite, if they just had a camp light like this and they heard a noise in the bush, there's a kangaroo in the bush, but they can only see a couple of metres ahead with this little light here. Their mind is going crazy. What could that be? I can't see it. What is it? You got a torch. At least, oh, it's a possum in a tree. That's it. So definitely bring a torch. One of the very first steps is plan where you're going first. Get to know the area so that if you chicken out and it's halfway through the night, it's pitch black, you know how to get out of there. You might not have any phone service, so make sure you know where to go to get home again. You don't want to get lost in the dark. Speaking of noises in the bushes, research the animals that are in your area and know their habits and the noises they make. So when I was first starting out, I was in my swag on the ground and we'd just gone to bed, and about half an hour later, we heard a noise only like a metre above our swag, and it was a growling noise. I'll try and overlay it right now. It was one of the scariest noises we'd ever heard. We were ready to just pack up and go, but we were too scared to hop out of the swag even. We were like, what is that? It wasn't until we got home we did our research and found out it was a possum. Possums make that growling noise and we had no idea. So do your research. It just helps put your mind at ease. Everyone sees these inspirational quotes on Instagram and Facebook, good for the soul, everything else, and these beautiful pictures of people outdoors. But you don't feel like that when you first get out solo. You are terrified. And so anything you can do to help take your mind off of that so that you can get into that mind space and you can actually just sit back, relax, and just listen to the sounds of nature. To help you get over that when you start out, bring a little portable speaker. Listen to some music, your favourite music. Download it on your phone just in case you have no phone service, and that helps you put your mind at ease as well. Even now when I go camping, quite often, probably half the time, I'll still listen to some music while I'm camping. It's just nice to occasionally just listen to some favourite music. It just helps relax you. When you're first starting out, don't go too far from home. Don't try and go too remote first up. Say it's halfway through the night and you get scared, you want to go home. You don't want to have to drive 50 kilometres. And then you also won't feel too bad too. If you feel like you get there, it's getting dark, you chicken out, you want to go home, that's fine. Do that first couple of times. Build up to going out overnight. Do a few day trips first and build up the confidence until you're brave enough to sleep overnight. But again, don't go too far from home, just in case you have a flat battery or something else goes wrong. And also try and camp close to other people too. You don't have to be right next to them. You can be a couple hundred metres away, still have your own privacy. But if something does go wrong, at least you know there's someone close by that can help you out. On that note, also do like I did last night. This is my second night camping. Last night I went out onto a beach with my housemate and her kids. Go camping with friends as often as you can first. That will also help you build up the confidence of sleeping outdoors before trying it on your own. Speaking about not going too remote, also don't go out of phone service. Not only is that your lifeline if something goes wrong, but that's also a comfort as well. Say you do get scared, you can ring a friend or family member, and talking to them on the phone will help distract your mind as well. That will also benefit your family members as well, knowing they can contact you anytime and check up on you. And if you are still in a service area and say you want to go for a hike, bring your phone with you as well. If you fall, hurt your leg, or say you get bitten by a snake even, you can't move. If you're bitten by a snake, you have to remain still. You can't go back to your car and call for help. So bring your phone, or if you are out of service, I'd also recommend having a satellite communicator. I use a Zoleo. It works through my phone. I can text or email anyone anywhere in Australia, even without service. There's also an SOS feature where I can call for help if I do get bitten by a snake or something bad happens. It's just an extra piece of insurance that I definitely recommend that anyone going out remote on their own should have. At a minimum, when you go out on your own, carry a first aid kit in your car, so you've always got something there ready to go. But what I would recommend though, if you are going hiking or leaving your car at all, especially in summertime, have a snakebite kit with you. Take that in a backpack with you anywhere you go, because like I said, if you're on a hike and you get bitten, you're 2 kilometres away from your car, you're not going to get back to that snakebite kit. So you want to be able to call for help as well as treat your snakebite while you're there. Speaking of snake bites, I do have a separate video up there if you haven't already watched it on how to properly treat a snake bite. There's one more bit of kit I would recommend to everyone that goes alone as well. I nearly died about a year ago when I came over to Western Australia. I was only here for less than a month. I was living out of my old Hilux on a property and I was on my own. I was eating a steak. I didn't have a steak knife, only had plastic utensils, and I was cutting through the steak and I couldn't cut through the fat. And I was like, oh, it'll be all right. And I ate it. The steak went down. The fat got stuck in my throat. So first thing I tried to do was stick my fingers down my throat and induce vomiting. That didn't work. So I tried standing up, jumping on the ground to dislodge it. That didn't work either. There was people in the house. I tried yelling out to the people in the house. I couldn't make a single sound. I couldn't breathe. There was no noises coming out of my mouth at all. I was getting really worried and really scared. So I had to start running towards the house. Luckily, people in the house were coming out of the house at the same time. They seen me, they come up to me, they tried to give me the Heimlich manoeuvre. I couldn't speak to them to talk them through that doesn't work and to give me the upwards thrust between the shoulder blades. So all they could do was ring O, and all they told them was there's an ambulance on the way. But by the time the ambulance got there, I was out of town, I would have been dead. They weren't talking them through on the phone how to do anything. So I'd basically given up. I just ended up leaning over a fence and I was just ready to die. And after 3.5 minutes of not being able to breathe, it finally went down and I was able to breathe again. I had blood all over my hands and I couldn't talk for a week. I just torn up my entire throat.
That's the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. I was eating my steak just then and it got stuck in my throat. I couldn't get it up, couldn't swallow it. I was the only one here. I'm outside. I jumped on the ground, everything trying to dislodge it. I couldn't even, there were people inside us screamed out to try and come and save me. They tried to give me the Heimlich and everything else, and it took about 3 minutes with no breath at all before I managed to get it up again. I could feel it in my throat. I was reaching down and actually grabbing it. I had blood on my hands trying to pull it out of my mouth. Bloody hell, that was scary.
So after being that scared and coming so close to dying, I went online. I didn't even know about this. One of my followers told me about this. It's an anti-choking device. So there's a mask inside it. You put it over there, it creates a vacuum, and you pull it outwards, and it sucks anything that's in your throat outwards. So if you're on your own and you're choking, you can still save yourself. Most people you see remote camping, especially on YouTube, will be in hammocks, tents, or swags, and that is really scary starting out, sleeping on the ground. Especially when, like even occasionally when I do sleep in tents and swags, every few months I'll hear noises during the night and I'll actually hear something walking around my swag, and it is scary. You don't know what to do, you don't know what it is. Your mind plays tricks on you thinking, what could it be? Is it a monster? Is it a yowie? What is it? And so starting out, what I would recommend is either sleep in a rooftop tent or inside your car. Just make a space in the back of your car or just lay one of your seats down. At least that way you feel protected inside your car, knowing that nothing can get inside. And also up in a rooftop tent, you feel really high and there's nothing that can get to you that high up. It's a great comfort. Also bring extra food and water just in case you do break down and you're stuck there for longer than you intended to be. You want to know that you've still got enough supplies to last you through. And also bring more clothes and more bedding than what you think you'll need as well. There's nothing worse hopping in bed at night and 2, 3 in the morning, the temperature drops, and you've already got all your bedding on, you've already got all your warm clothes on, and you're still freezing cold. You just want to pack up and go home to your nice warm bed. So it doesn't matter if you don't need your bedding when it's there. At least you know during the night you can get out and you can grab that bedding and put it on. One thing that's going to keep you out there is making it as fun as possible for yourself. One thing I really love doing, and most people love doing, is cooking over the fire or learning different ways to light a fire. It's just so much fun. And you can just sit there all night long just watching a fire. There's just nothing like it. It's just mesmerising. At home, I absolutely hate cooking. I'm terrible at cooking. I burn everything. And at camping, I'm no better. But I have fun with it and enjoy it. So I love experimenting with new meals, and it just kills time and just gives you a genuine joy. Also, don't solely rely on just cooking over the fire as well, as you see most YouTubers do. Make sure you have a backup plan. I have a Weber barbecue, so if that gas bottle runs out, I have an induction cooker that I can rely on, which runs through my battery power. So same thing, if my batteries run out, I've got the Weber as a backup. Both of those, if they fail, I always carry a fire pit with me that I can always cook on. So I've always got 1 or 2 backup plans. Like I said, camping solo should be an enjoyable, fun experience. So don't feel bad if you have to bring your devices, your phone, your tablet, anything you got to distract yourself, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, play Sudoku, whatever you want to do, or even you want to bring crosswords, puzzles, anything to keep your mind distracted. You want to go home knowing that you enjoyed your time outdoors. It doesn't have to be just you sitting there just listening to nature the whole time. That's not what it's about. There are moments where you just sit there for an hour, like especially, that's one good thing I would love to recommend. Get a hammock. They're not very comfortable to sleep in. I've tried them multiple times. I never get used to it. But just find 2 trees, hang the hammock up, and just lay in there. You could lay there for an hour straight, just listening to the birds, the wind, the trees, and just nod off if you have to. Just have an afternoon siesta and just relax. You work all week long, you go outdoors to relax and recharge. Oh, look at that. This is what I mean. You just zone out. Oh. It's such a good feeling, you just can't beat it. And it's very addictive, you want to get out more and more. And the more you do come out, the more you start listening to nature and enjoying nature. You won't need to be on your device so much. You'll forget where your phone is and you'll be like, oh, well, I don't care. Because you're happy just listening to the birds. Alcohol definitely calms your nerves when you're outdoors. Makes you feel a lot more relaxed. But be careful, if you're just starting out and you sit there and you have 5 or 6 drinks, you're totally relaxed, but then you hear a noise and you get scared. Oh crap, I want to go home now. You've just had 6 drinks, you're not driving home, you're not going anywhere, you're staying there overnight. So be careful with that, it does relax you, but yeah, you'll be stuck here overnight. So wait until you're more experienced, more comfortable being here overnight before you start having more than just a few drinks while you're camping. Since you're starting out going solo camping, I assume you don't have a full 12-volt setup in your car with a fridge and everything else. So just bring an esky, keep it basic, and also bring a power bank to charge your phone or any devices. That includes your Bluetooth speakers. Don't play your music through your car. Like I said, you'll have a flat battery in the morning. I'd also recommend a jumper pack or a set of jump leads if you've got someone close by that can jump your car in the morning, should you need to. One really, really important thing, before you go anywhere, I should actually be doing it a lot more and I don't, is telling people where I go each weekend. I just take off, I might say to my housemate, yep, I'm going sort of this direction, but they don't know where I'm going. Nobody knows where I'm going. I don't post it on Instagram. I have no service. So if anything happens to me, nobody would find me for days and days. So always tell people where you're going so that anything goes wrong, they know where to find you. Also tell them how long you'll be and check in regularly if you're in phone service. This might sound strange, and I actually find myself doing it quite often when I'm out by myself. I'll talk to myself all the time. It's really weird, but there's no one else here to talk to. You start talking to yourself, it just comes natural after a while, and you learn to enjoy your own company. It's actually really good for you. When you are heading out by yourself for the first time, you may already have a reasonable idea from going camping with your friends what you need, but pack a lot more than you think you'd need. Doesn't matter if you have too much gear. After a couple of times of bringing all that gear, you work out what you do and don't need, and you'll be able to cull half the gear that you've brought. And in the end, you'll be able to have camping boxes packed, ready to go, that you can just throw in your car and you can just go. Like myself, my car's always packed, ready to go. All I do is throw some beer, some food in there, and I'm off. I don't think I've been to a single campsite ever and not explored the area. It's one of the most fun things you can do, and it makes that camp spot memorable as well. So go for a bushwalk or even a drive around the area of your campsite. See what's around. You might actually find a better spot 200 metres up the road. So it's worth checking out the area. For those of you that are stuck around this long in the video, what do you guys think of this campsite? I had no idea this was here. I've just been searching Google Maps and I thought I'd give this a try. I thought it'd be fenced off, and this has turned out to be absolutely beautiful. I'm probably 30 k's away from anyone at all. Got this place all to myself. It's so quiet and peaceful, and all I can hear is the wind blowing through the pine trees. I love wind going through pine trees. It's a very special spot, and I'll definitely be back again. Also, a heap of yabbies in the water here too. If you'd like to consider supporting me to get out and do more of these type of videos, there's a link down below. You consider becoming a Patreon member, where you'll get exclusive benefits like early access to videos, private live streams, and among other things. But most importantly, it helps me get out to film this content. That went for a lot longer than I planned on. Now, like I said, I put that poll out on Instagram the other day. So now we'll go through people's responses on tips and questions they might have had, and I'm just blind by the smoke now. So give me a minute so I can see my screen. Okay, Bush to Coast. He said use the KISS method, safety and common sense, so just keep it simple. West Australian Off-Road, he had a good response. Music, reception, cooking, plenty of lighting. The more you can light up your camp area, the safer you're going to feel at night time. Tend to the fire, all good distractions. Switch Williams. How do you convince your mind that the noise at night was an animal and not an axe murderer? That's one thing people are terrified of. You hear any single noise and straight away you think it's an axe murderer or some monster that's out to kill you. How many people have you heard of that have been killed out bush, or animals that have eaten people alive in Australia? So you just got to rationalise the situation and realise that the chances of something happening to you out remote are pretty much zero. Nothing is going to attack you at night. What a week with Frankie. Go fast bag. 48 hours worth of clothes, toothbrush and paste, first aid, emergency contact list. In case anything goes wrong, you can just grab that bag and run. Plumsy is 84. I'd love to go solo, but I won't lie, I'm anxious about doing so. This is the response that most people have when they think about solo camping. There's not many people that are brave enough to attempt it on their own. It's a huge thing, and don't rush into it. Like I said, go out day trips first, and slowly ease your way into it. Don't put yourself off and never want to do it again. There is no rush at all. I hope you guys have found the information really helpful. I've tried to think of every scenario I can think of, but if there's anything I've missed, leave it down below. I'm happy to answer any sort of questions you have, or if you've appreciated the video, let me know down below. What did you find the most helpful? And also don't forget to leave a like down below as well, it really helps me out. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. I make lots of these outdoor content videos. But thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers!